Each year, many people set New Year's resolutions to get healthy, which oftentimes includes a desire to exercise more, eat healthier, and generally make better choices to achieve specific health goals. But sadly, 92% of people fail to follow through on their New Year's resolutions and therefore go yet another year without achieving their health goals. If you look at the general population, each year that passes, our health is declining, so something is going horribly wrong. Welcome to the Radical Health Rebel podcast. I'm your host, Leigh Brandon. This work started for me several decades ago when I started to see the impact I could make on people, helping them to identify the root cause of their health problems that no doctor could figure out, including serious back, knee, shoulder and neck injuries, acne and eczema issues, severe gut health problems, even helping couples get pregnant after several IVF treatments had failed. And it really moves me to be able to help people in this way. And that is why I do what I do and why we have this show. Hi, and welcome back to the show. If you've ever felt frustrated by your own or someone else's struggle to stick to a health plan, you're definitely not alone. Change is hard, and it's easy to feel like you're hitting a wall, especially when it comes to something as personal as our health. But here's the thing. Understanding why it's so challenging to make lasting change is the first step in overcoming those barriers. In today's episode, we're going to dive into the key reasons people struggle to stick to their health plans and, more importantly, explore how to break through these roadblocks. So if you're feeling stuck in your health journey, or if you're helping someone else along the way, this episode is for you. So grab a pen, take some notes, and let's get started. Each year, many people set New Year's resolutions to get healthy, which oftentimes includes a desire to exercise more, eat healthier, and generally make better choices to achieve specific health goals. But sadly, 92% of people fail to follow through on their New Year's resolutions and therefore go yet another year without achieving their health goals. If you look at the general population, each year that passes, our health is declining, so something is going horribly wrong. What I intend to do in this episode is explore the reasons why people fail year after year to achieve their health goals. The consequences of failing to achieve your health goals often leads to a reduction in energy. It could be an increase in physical pain, an increase in body fat, as well as a loss of cognitive ability and short or long-term memory. But these aren't the real downsides. The real downsides that I see in people who come to see me for help is the fact that they can't do the things that they love to do in life. Things like playing sport, playing with their kids, or even just performing well at work, which for some can also lead to a reduction in income. Ultimately, it leads to a life of restrictions. And when you're restricted, you're not truly free. You're a slave to your ailments. And like many, you may become a lifelong customer for the medical pharmaceutical cartel who only make money when people are sick. And as we saw in 2020, becoming reliant on the medical pharmaceutical cartel can cost you your life, not just your quality of life. But don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging by just pointing out the reasons why people don't stick to a healthy lifestyle. I will be revealing, if you listen all the way to the end, how you can finally achieve your health goals in 2025 and no longer be one of the 92% who will get to 2026 having failed yet again. So let's dive in. So why do people fail to stick to their health-related New Year's resolutions? Having coached clients for almost 3 decades now, I can tell you for sure, even when people know exactly what they need to do to be successful, if their mindset is not right, they will not do the things that they need to do to be successful. What I've learned is that I can give someone the best exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle plan in the world, but if they don't stick to the program, it doesn't matter how good the program is, it just isn't going to work. So both the conscious and subconscious mind controls our choices and behaviors. So to not work on the mind first is a stairway to yet another year of failure, living a life with a lack of physical and mental freedom, quality of life, and an almost certain premature death. I will come on to talk about the subconscious mind, which is way more powerful than the conscious mind. But for now, I will focus on the conscious mind. If you've ever felt frustrated by your or someone else's struggle to stick to a health plan, you're definitely not alone. Change is hard and it's easy to feel like you're hitting a wall, especially when it comes to something as personal as our health. But here's the thing, understanding why it's so challenging to make lasting change is the first step in overcoming those barriers. In today's episode, we're going to dive into the key reasons people struggle to stick to their health plans and, more importantly, explore how to break through these roadblocks. So if you're feeling stuck in your health journey, or if you're helping someone else along the way, this episode is definitely for you. The first reason people struggle with health goals is a lack of awareness. Oftentimes, people are unaware of the root causes behind their behaviors or how those behaviors are impacting their health. For example, someone might not connect their constant fatigue to their dehydration or their joint pain to an inflammatory diet. These connections aren't always obvious, and sometimes the way we feel is just accepted as normal because it's been that way for so long. On top of that, conflicting advice in the media can leave us feeling overwhelmed and confused about what's actually true. When we're bombarded with so many options, it's easier to stick with what's familiar, even if it's not helping us. Some people don't feel motivated because the benefits of change seem distant, or the effort required feels too overwhelming in the face of other pressing priorities. Maybe they've got work deadlines, family commitments, or a million other things demanding their attention, and health just falls to the bottom of the list. Another thing that comes into play is ambivalence, where part of you really wants to change, but another part resists it. That tug of war can leave you feeling stuck. You're torn between wanting better health and feeling like it's too much work. This inner conflict often stalls progress before it even gets started. Change can also feel uncomfortable, and let's face it, we all have our comfort zones. Stepping outside of that comfort zone, especially when it comes to something like health, can feel like a threat to the routines and habits we rely on. For some, change can even feel like a threat to their identity. For instance, if your social gatherings revolve around unhealthy food and drink, choosing a different path might feel isolating. It might feel like you're being disloyal to your friends or the life you've built around those habits. That fear of losing your identity can make it really hard to commit to change. Our emotions play a huge role in our behavior. For example, stress, anxiety, or fear of failure can create mental blocks that keep us stuck in old patterns. You might know that stress eating is counterproductive, but when life gets tough, reaching for comfort foods feel like the easiest way to cope. Emotional barriers can be especially tricky because they tend to show up when we're feeling vulnerable or overwhelmed. It's not always about what we know or don't know, it's about how we feel in the moment. Sometimes the reason people don't stick to their health plan is because they simply don't know how to implement them. For example, someone might not know how to cook nutritious meals or put together an effective workout routine. Without the right skills or knowledge, it's easy to feel defeated before even trying. Resources also play a role. For some people, financial or logistical barriers like limited access to healthy food or exercise facilities can make change feel out of reach. When the resources you need aren't readily available, it's hard to stay motivated. Support is crucial for long-term success. Without someone to encourage or hold you accountable, it's easy to lose momentum. This could be a coach, a friend, or even a community. Without that external reinforcement, it's easier to slip back into old patterns. But there is another side to this. Social pressure can also work against us. Well-meaning friends or family might unknowingly undermine your efforts. You've probably heard things like, "Oh, just have one, it won't hurt." And in the moment, that feels easier than sticking to your plan. But when the people around us don't support our goals, it makes the journey harder. Many people set a health goal so ambitious that it quickly becomes overwhelming. Maybe trying to overhaul their entire diet in a week or committing to a rigorous workout plan without considering their current physical capabilities. Perfectionism and unrealistic expectations often lead to burnout. If the goals you set feel unattainable, you're setting yourself up for failure. When you experience the inevitable setback, it's easy to feel discouraged and give up. But the key to lasting change is starting small, setting achievable goals, and celebrating those small wins along the way. Our brains are wired for habits. The automatic behaviors we engage in every day are ingrained in us, and breaking those old patterns can feel almost impossible. If you've ever reached for a snack out of habit, even when you weren't hungry, you know exactly what I mean. Environmental cues also play a big role. Seeing that bag of chips on the counter or the soda in the fridge triggers automatic responses that feel almost impossible to resist. These habits aren't just mental, they're physical, and they've been reinforced over time. Change is most successful when it's aligned with your core values and your goals. If the motivation to get healthy is purely external, maybe you're doing it because a doctor told you to, or because someone else is pressuring you, then it's unlikely to last. Change that comes from within, driven by your own desire and commitment, has staying power. This is why it's so important to connect to the deeper reasons behind your health goals. It's not just about losing weight or going to the gym. It's about improving your energy, being there for your loved ones, feeling strong, and living a life you truly love. Finally, we have chronic pain or physical limitations. If you're living with pain or a health condition, starting a new fitness routine or making changes to your diet can feel overwhelming. You might fear that activity will worsen your pain or feel like you just don't have the energy to take on new challenges. For anyone dealing with chronic pain, the idea of getting healthier can feel like an uphill battle. But there are ways to approach change gently, taking into account your body's needs and limitations. It's about finding what works for you and moving at a pace that feels sustainable. So does any of this sound familiar to you? I know it can feel tough, but the good news is every single one of those barriers can be overcome. Whether it's shifting your mindset, finding better support, or breaking old habits, change is possible. I want you to know that you can make lasting changes. The key is understanding why it's hard and then using that awareness to find a path forward that works for you. And I will be sharing my new groundbreaking solution to overcome these challenges at the end of this episode. Okay, so you know that making lasting changes to your health and lifestyle is an incredibly powerful step towards creating the life you truly deserve. But there's one crucial question we all need to ask ourselves. Are you truly ready to commit to the lifestyle changes necessary to achieve your health goals? That's the question we're going to explore now, so you can assess your readiness for change, understand where you are in the process, and take actionable steps to move forward. Let's begin with the stages of change model. Now, this framework outlines the phases that people typically go through on their journey towards lasting change. Understanding where you are in this process can give you clarity about what to focus on next. So here's a quick rundown of the 5 stages. So firstly, there's pre-contemplation. This is when you're not thinking about change at all. You might not even recognize that something needs to change. Now, it's unlikely if you're listening or watching this podcast that you're in that stage. Next is the contemplation stage. So now you're considering making a change, but haven't fully committed yet. You might be gathering information or weighing your options. The next stage is the preparation phase. And in this stage, you're ready to start planning your next steps. You've decided that change is necessary and you're getting ready to act. The next stage is the action stage. This is where the rubber meets the road. You're actively working towards your health goals and making real changes. And the final stage is the maintenance stage. So this is the stage where you've made the changes and now you're working on maintaining those new healthy habits for the long term. So take a moment and reflect. Where are you in this process right now? As an example, if you're in the contemplation stage, you might find yourself thinking about how you'd like to improve your health, but haven't taken any concrete steps yet. On the other hand, if you're in the action stage, you're already putting those changes into practice. Knowing where you are helps you tailor your approach and understand what's required in each phase. Now that we have a better understanding of where you are in the change process, Let's take a closer look at what makes someone truly ready for change. The Ingredients of Readiness to Change framework highlights 3 essential elements that help you assess whether you're prepared to move forward with your health goals. Here are the 3 key ingredients. Number 1, motivation. Do you genuinely want to change? Is your desire strong enough to fuel your commitment to your health journey? Number 2 is your confidence. Do you believe you can succeed? Your confidence in your ability to make lasting changes plays a huge role in your progress. And 3, knowledge. Do you understand the steps needed to make the change? Having the right tools, information, and strategies will make the process easier and more sustainable. Think about these elements for a moment. Which one feels like a strength for you right now, and which one might need a little more attention or support? For example, you might feel highly motivated, but you're unsure about what steps to take next. Or maybe you've got the knowledge, but struggle with confidence. No matter where you are, these 3 ingredients will help guide you towards readiness. To help you assess where you stand in terms of motivation, confidence, and readiness, you can use something like what I call the Ready Test. It's a simple self-assessment to help you reflect on your health challenges and identify areas where you're feeling strong and areas that may need some extra work. It's a series of questions you ask yourself to establish your level of readiness, and I'll explain to you where you can find those questions a little later. Ultimately, if your motivation and confidence are high, it's likely you're ready to take the necessary steps towards your health goals. That means you can start setting clear, actionable goals, creating a structured action plan, and finding the support you need to stay on track. But let's say your scores are lower. Maybe your motivation is a bit lacking, or your confidence needs some building. That's totally okay. Low scores don't mean you're not ready. They just indicate that it's time to focus on strengthening your readiness. Here are a few things that you can do. If you need to increase your knowledge, or if you're unsure about how to make your health goals a reality, start by learning more. Whether it's about nutrition, exercise, or stress management, knowledge is empowering. If you need to boost your motivation, connect to your why. Why do you want this change? Whether it's about feeling better, living longer, or setting a positive example for your family, the clearer your why, the stronger your motivation will be. If you need to build confidence, start small. Break your goal down into tiny, manageable steps. Even the smallest actions like drinking more water or taking a 10-minute walk can lead to big progress over time. And as you see results, your confidence will grow. Remember, change is a process, not an event. It's okay to take your time and move through these stages at your own pace. By assessing your readiness and taking thoughtful, intentional steps forward, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. No matter where you are in your journey, the fact that you're here listening to this podcast means you're already on the right path. So give yourself credit for that. Whether you're in the contemplation stage or already well into the action stage, there's always room to grow. And you have the power to make this change happen. When pursuing meaningful health changes, motivation acts as the essential fuel that propels you forward. However, maintaining that motivation can be a challenge. Many people find themselves struggling to stay committed to their health goals, and understanding the reasons behind this lack of motivation is crucial. So why do people struggle with motivation? Firstly, understanding the motivation cycle. So motivation is not a constant, it ebbs and flows. At the start of a new health journey, excitement and enthusiasm are often high. However, as time goes on, this initial burst can fade, leading to feelings of discouragement. Research shows that motivation is influenced by various cognitive and emotional factors, including the desire for pleasure and relief from discomfort. Recognizing that fluctuations in motivation are normal can help individuals manage their expectations. Next, the role of energy conservation. From an evolutionary perspective, our brains are wired to conserve energy. Engaging in physical activity or making dietary changes requires our energy expenditure, which our bodies instinctively resist unless there's a compelling reason to act. This biological inclination can lead to a mental block against pursuing healthy behaviors. Next, fear of change. The prospect of change can be daunting. Many people hesitate because they fear losing familiar comforts or habits. Identifying these fears and understanding their emotional impact is vital for preparing for the journey ahead. Acknowledging what might be lost alongside what can be gained helps clarify motivations and reinforces commitment. Next, a lack of clear goals. Without specific, measurable goals, it's easy to feel lost or aimless in your health journey. Clarity about what success looks like, both in terms of outcomes and personal satisfaction, can significantly enhance motivation. When individuals articulate their goals and visualize their desired outcomes, they create a stronger emotional connection to their health aspirations. And finally, insufficient resources and support. Many people fail to maintain motivation due to a lack of resources or support systems. Whether it's access to information, tools, or community encouragement, feeling unsupported can drain motivation quickly. Reflecting on past experiences where support was lacking can provide insights into what resources are necessary for future success. Hey there, Rebels. I have got something very special to share with you today. Did you know that every month I release an exclusive No Punches Pulled episode? These are conversations you won't hear anywhere else with incredible, sometimes controversial guests who expose hidden truths, challenge corruption, and bring you to actionable steps to take charge of your health in a world where censorship and restrictions are on the rise. These subscriber-only episodes go deep, and for the price of a single takeaway coffee each month, you can become a paid subscriber to access this extra content, the kind of content certain authorities would rather you didn't hear. By subscribing, you're not just supporting the Radical Health Rebel podcast, you're helping bring even bolder, more controversial, and inspiring guests onto the show. You'll also be making an investment in real health, real truth, and real solutions, so much more meaningful than what you get with TV licenses, cable subscriptions, or film streaming giants. If you're ready to support this movement for health and truth, head to the show notes and click Support the Show. It takes just a moment, so why not do it right now? Then come back and enjoy the rest of this episode. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and for rebelling with us against the mainstream. Let's create a healthier, happier, and fairer world together. Go to the show notes, click Support the Show, and let's keep the Radical Health Rebel movement growing strong. To combat these motivational challenges, I use the SCORE model. This is a structured framework designed to enhance your journey towards better health. Step 1 is your desired situation. So you define your goals clearly and explore the benefits of achieving them while considering potential losses, i.e. things you might need to give up or do less of. Step 2 is about your current situation. So you assess your current challenges and connect them to your motivations for change. And step 3 is all about your resources. Identify what you need in terms of tools, time, and support to succeed, and reflect on past struggles for insights. So by following this model, you can create a clear and motivating roadmap that keeps you focused and energized throughout your journey. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this episode when I will show you where you can find the resources to go through the SCORE model yourself. To conclude, motivation is foundational for any successful change in health behaviors. Understanding the psychological barriers that hinder motivation allows you to address them effectively. By utilizing the SCORE model, you can develop a personalized strategy that not only boosts your motivation, but also empowers you to take actionable steps towards achieving your health goals. Remember, it's about progress over perfection. Small, consistent steps lead to significant changes over time. Next, we're going to dive into a crucial aspect of making meaningful lifestyle changes, and that's empowerment. When it comes to transforming our health behaviors, taking responsibility for our own actions is not just important, it's essential. So why is empowerment such a game changer in our health journey? Well, let's explore this together. Empowerment is about recognizing that you have the ability to influence your own life and your own health outcomes. When you take ownership of your actions, you become an active participant in your journey rather than a passive observer. This shift in mindset can lead to profound changes in how you approach your health. So, what are the key benefits of empowerment? Firstly, increased confidence. When you take responsibility for your choices, you build confidence in your ability to make decisions that align with your goals. Next is enhanced motivation. Empowered individuals are more likely to stay motivated because they're working towards goals that they have set for themselves rather than following someone else's agenda. Next is greater resilience. Taking charge means you're better equipped to handle setbacks. Instead of feeling defeated, you learn from challenges and adapt your strategies. And finally, personalized solutions. Empowerment allows you to create solutions that fit your unique lifestyle and preferences, leading to more sustainable changes. The tools I use with my clients to help them generate empowerment, I call the empowerment tool. This tool is designed to help you build confidence, motivation, and clarity in your health journey through two key techniques. One is creating solutions without being told what to do, and two is by setting smart goals. The first technique is all about ownership, creating solutions that resonate with you personally. Remember, you are the expert on your own life. Technique 2, setting smart goals. The smart goal setting framework is vital for creating clear and actionable objectives, so we always need to ensure that we set goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timed. By applying the SMART framework, you'll transform vague aspirations into concrete plans. Remember, taking charge of your health is a journey, not a race. The empowerment tool equips you with the skills to create personalized solutions and set inspiring goals while keeping you motivated along the way. You've got everything you need to succeed. Just take it one step at a time. And if you want to find out how to become empowered to achieve your health goals, make sure to stay tuned until the end of this episode. One of the key reasons people lose motivation is that they often fail to regularly review their progress. Think about it. When was the last time you took a moment to reflect on your achievements? Whether it's losing a few pounds, lifting heavier weights, or simply feeling more energetic, acknowledging these successes can reignite your passion for your health journey. I would encourage you to set aside time each week or month specifically for this purpose. Grab a journal or use an app and jot down what you've accomplished. Celebrate those small victories. This practice not only boosts your morale, but also helps you see how far you've come. Now let's talk about challenges. Every journey has its bumps in the road. Maybe you hit a plateau in your weight loss, or perhaps life gets busy and healthy habits take a back seat. It's crucial to recognize these challenges rather than ignore them. Take some time to analyze what's been holding you back. Is it time management, lack of resources, or emotional eating? Understanding the specific challenges you face allows you to create targeted strategies to overcome them. Once you've identified your challenges, it's time to create action plans. This is where the magic happens. By developing concrete steps to address your obstacles, you're setting yourself up for success. Here are 3 examples of overcoming challenges. Number 1, lack of time for workouts. What you could do is schedule workouts like appointments and set specific days and times in your calendar. Number 2, temptation to snack on unhealthy foods. Well, what you could do is prepare healthy snacks in advance and keep them accessible. And number 3, feeling overwhelmed by meal preparation. What you could do is start with simple recipes or batch cook at weekends. So to conclude, stay engaged and adaptable. Remember, staying motivated is an ongoing process. Regularly reviewing your successes and challenges keeps you engaged and adaptable. Life changes, and so should your plans. So next time you feel that motivation is waning, take a step back, reflect on what you've achieved, identify what's holding you back, and create a plan of action. Core values are another aspect essential for success in your healthy lifestyle regime. Now, you might be wondering, what do core values have to do with my diet or exercise routine? Well, let's break it down. First, let's define what we mean by core values. Core values are the fundamental beliefs that guide our behaviors and decision-making processes. They are the principles that shape our identity and influence how we interact with the world around us. When it comes to health and wellness, having a clear set of core values can serve as your North Star. They help you prioritize what truly matters to you and can make all the difference when faced with challenges or temptations. So, why is it more likely that people fail in their healthy lifestyle regimes if they haven't defined their core values? Well, here are a few reasons. Number one, a lack of motivation. Without core values, it's easy to lose sight of why you started your health journey in the first place. If your motivation is based solely on external factors like fitting into a certain size or impressing others, you may find yourself feeling unfulfilled. However, when your goals align with your core values, such as health for longevity, self-respect, or setting a positive example for your family, you're more likely to stay committed. Two is inconsistent decision-making. Imagine you're at a party and everyone is enjoying rich desserts while you're trying to stick to your own individualized eating plan. If you haven't defined your core values, it becomes much easier to sway with the crowd and indulge in those treats. But if one of your core values is health for vitality, you'll be more inclined to make choices that align with that value, even in tempting situations. And three, difficulty in overcoming obstacles. Life is full of challenges, stressful days at work, social pressures, or even just the monotony of routine workouts. When obstacles arise, having clearly defined core values can provide the resilience needed to push through. If your value is personal growth, for instance, you'll view setbacks as opportunities to learn rather than reasons to give up. So in summary, defining your core values isn't just an abstract exercise, it's a practical tool that can significantly enhance your chances of success in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. By anchoring your decisions and actions in what truly matters to you, you'll find greater motivation, consistency, and resilience on your journey. So take some time this week to reflect on what your core values are. Write them down and think about how they can guide you towards achieving your health goals. And as you may have gathered already so far, I'll be sharing with you a tool that you can use to help you create your own set of core values at the end of this episode. In this segment of the podcast, we're going to delve into the most common excuse many people use when it comes to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And that is, I do not have enough time. And I'm sure you've used that one yourself. This excuse often marks deeper issues related to time management and prioritization. To illustrate this, we can draw on Stephen Covey's 4 quadrants of time management, which categorizes tasks based on their urgency and importance. To understand the no time excuse, we need to appreciate that many individuals feel overwhelmed by their daily commitments, leading them to believe they simply cannot find time for healthy habits. However, this perception often stems from poor time management rather than a genuine lack of time. Covey's framework helps us see that not all tasks are created equal. So let's look at the 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, urgent and important. So these are tasks that require immediate attention, such as deadlines or crises. While it's essential to address these, they can dominate our schedules if we let them. Quadrant 2, not urgent, but important. This quadrant is where health and wellness activities typically fall. Tasks like exercising, meal planning, and self-care are crucial for long-term well-being, but often get sidelined in favor of more pressing matters. Quadrant 3 is urgent, but not important. These tasks may seem pressing, like responding to certain emails or attending unnecessary meetings, but they do not contribute significantly to our goals. And finally, quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. Activities in this quadrant are often distractions, such as excessive social media browsing or binge watching TV shows. When people claim they don't have time for exercise or healthy eating, they are often spending too much time in quadrants 1 and 3, neglecting the important tasks in quadrant 2. To counter this, individuals should actively prioritize their health by scheduling these important activities in their calendars as non-negotiable appointments. Here are some practical strategies. Firstly, prepare. Invest in meal prepping or setting out workout clothes the night before to reduce decision fatigue during busy days. Next, reframe your mindset. View exercise not as a chore, but as an investment in your well-being. This shift can help you prioritize it higher on your list. And finally, create a realistic schedule. Tailor your health activities to fit your lifestyle. If mornings are hectic, consider evening workouts or weekend meal prep sessions. Ultimately, the excuse of not having enough time is a reflection of how we choose to allocate our time rather than an absolute truth. By understanding Covey's quadrants and making conscious choices about our priorities, we can effectively integrate healthy habits into our lives. It's about recognizing that we all have the same 24 hours and choosing to use them wisely for our own health and well-being. This perspective will not only help empower you to take control of your schedule, but also encourages you to reflect on what truly matters in life, making health a priority rather than an afterthought. To understand why people often struggle to adhere to their healthy lifestyle plans, it's essential to explore the biopsychosocial model. This comprehensive framework emphasizes the interplay between biological, psychological, and social factors in influencing our health behaviors and outcomes. The biopsychosocial model, introduced by George Engel in 1977, suggests that health and illnesses are the result of dynamic interactions among biological, psychological, and social factors. Unlike the traditional biomedical model, which focuses solely on biological aspects, this model recognizes that health is influenced by a broader range of elements, including mental health and social circumstances. Biological factors encompass genetics, physiology, and overall health status. For instance, chronic health conditions can limit physical activity or dietary options, making adherence to healthy lifestyle plans more difficult. Understanding these biological constraints is important for setting realistic goals. Psychological factors play a significant role in how individuals approach their health. Mental health issues such as anxiety or depression can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms like emotional eating or neglecting exercise. In addition, cognitive biases, such as the belief that you've failed if you slip up, can deter you from continuing your healthy lifestyle efforts after setbacks. Addressing these psychological barriers through supportive interventions can enhance motivation and resilience. Lastly, social factors include the influence of family, friends, cultural norms, and socio-economic status. A lack of social support can lead to feelings of isolation and make it harder for individuals to stick to their plans. For instance, if a person's social circle engages in unhealthy eating habits or sedentary lifestyles, it may be challenging for them to maintain their commitment to healthier choices. Additionally, socio-economic factors can limit access to nutritious foods or fitness resources. Despite its comprehensive nature, several key aspects of the biopsychosocial model are often overlooked. Many individuals fail to recognize how these three domains interact. For example, mental stress, a psychological factor, can lead to poor dietary choices, which is a behavioral outcome, which in turn affects physical health, a biological outcome. People often apply a one-size-fits-all approach to health plans without considering their unique biological or psychological needs. Tailoring lifestyle changes to fit individual circumstances is critical for long-term success. Short-term diets or exercise fads may neglect the importance of sustainable lifestyle changes that consider social support systems and personal enjoyment in activities. In summary, understanding why people struggle with maintaining healthy lifestyles requires a holistic view that incorporates the biopsychosocial model. By addressing biological limitations, psychological barriers, and social influences while recognizing their interconnectedness, individuals can develop more effective strategies for achieving and sustaining their health goals. This comprehensive approach not only fosters better adherence, but also promotes overall well-being in a more meaningful way. Next, I want to dive into a crucial aspect of maintaining a healthy lifestyle that often gets overlooked: planning ahead for potential obstacles. You know, one of the biggest reasons people fail in their healthy lifestyle regimes is simply this: they don't plan for bumps in the road. We've all heard the saying, failing to plan is planning to fail. It's a phrase that rings true in so many areas of our lives, but especially when it comes to health and wellness. Let's face it, life is unpredictable. Whether it's a busy work week, unexpected social events, or just those days when you're feeling a bit off, obstacles are bound to arise. If we don't have a plan in place to navigate these challenges, it's all too easy to fall back into old habits. Imagine this: You've committed to eating healthier. You've stocked your fridge with fresh organic meats and produce. But then life happens. You get invited out for dinner with friends, or you have a late night work deadline that leaves you reaching for a takeaway. Without a plan in place, those healthy intentions can quickly slip away. So how do we combat this? Well, it all starts with preparation. Here are a few strategies that I've found helpful. Number one is to anticipate challenges. First, take some time to think about what challenges you might face. Are there specific events coming up? It could be busy weeks at work, or it could be family gatherings. By identifying these potential obstacles ahead of time, you can create strategies to deal with them when they occur. Next, consider a flexible meal plan. This doesn't mean you need to stick to a rigid schedule. Rather, have go-to meals and snacks that are quick and easy to prepare. This way, when life throws a curveball your way, you'll still have healthy options available. It's also essential to set realistic goals. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on progress. Understand that it's okay to have setbacks. What matters is how you respond to them. And finally, build a support system. Don't underestimate the power of community. Share your goals with friends or family who can help you keep accountable and provide support when things get tough. In conclusion, remember that planning isn't just about organizing your meals or workouts. It's about setting yourself up for success in the face of life's unpredictability. By anticipating challenges and preparing accordingly, you'll be much more likely to stick to your healthy lifestyle regime. Next, let's look at the importance of educating yourself on health matters and why it's so crucial to educate ourselves about health. Well, knowledge is power. When we understand the principles of nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle, we equip ourselves with the tools needed to make informed decisions. Many people embark on health journeys without a solid foundation of knowledge. They might follow trends or fads that promise quick results, but lack the scientific backing to support long-term success. This can lead to frustration, disappointment, and ultimately giving up on their goals. By taking the time to educate ourselves by reading books, listening to credible podcasts, attending workshops, we can discern what works for our bodies and what doesn't. We can learn about individualized diets and workout routines and the importance of mental health and psychology in our overall well-being. Another concept that can further enhance our journey is understanding our learning style. You may have heard of the VARK model. If you haven't, VARK stands for Visual, Auditory, Reading, Writing, and Kinesthetic Learning Styles. Recognizing how to learn best can dramatically improve your ability to absorb and apply information. If you're a visual learner, you might benefit from things like infographics, charts, or videos that illustrate healthy eating habits or exercise techniques. For those who learn best through listening, podcasts like this one or audiobooks on health can be invaluable resources. If you prefer reading and writing, consider keeping a health journal or diving into articles and books that explore various health subjects in depth. And if you're a kinesthetic learner, engaging in hands-on activities like cooking healthy meals or participating in fitness sessions can help reinforce your understanding. By identifying your learning style, you can tailor your approach to education in a way that resonates with you personally. This not only makes the learning process more enjoyable, but also increases retention and application of the information. Achieving our health goals is not just about our willpower. It's about equipping ourselves with knowledge and understanding how we learn best. By educating ourselves on health matters and recognizing our unique learning styles through the VARK model, we set ourselves up for success. So as you continue your health journey, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned today. How can you incorporate education into your routine? What's your learning style and what resources will you use to best educate yourself? Okay, so we've covered the conscious mind for this episode. Now let's dive into the subconscious mind. Attention, all radical health rebels. Are you ready to uncover the truth the authorities don't want you to know? We've just launched our Radical Health Rebel channel on Rumble. Here's the deal. We're bringing you the first half of our subscriber-only episodes for free. That's right, free access to the hard-hitting, eye-opening conversations that dig into the topics mainstream platforms won't touch. Whether it's cutting-edge health insights, exposing hidden agendas, or sharing tools to thrive in challenging times, this is your chance to stay informed without subscribing to the podcast. Tune in on Rumble to keep track of what's really going on in the world and join a growing community of truth seekers. Don't miss out. Search Radical Health Rebel on Rumble and start watching today, because knowledge is power and it's time to take yours back. In the book, The Biology of Belief, Dr. Bruce Lipton discusses how the development of our brainwaves, especially during the first few years of life, has a profound impact on our behaviors, beliefs, and patterns as adults. According to Lipton, our brain is highly impressionable during the early years, and brainwave patterns we experience can shape the subconscious programming that influences our choices and actions later in life. Here's a breakdown of the different brainwave states in the first 12 years of life and how they are tied to the development of belief systems and behaviors. So we have the delta, theta, alpha, and beta brainwave states. So firstly, we have delta waves. So these go from 0.5 to 4 hertz. And these are the dominant brainwaves from birth to about 2 years old. They're the slowest brainwaves, often associated with deep sleep and unconscious states. In infants and young children, the brain is primarily operating in this state. During this stage, children are in a state of deep unconscious absorption. The brain is highly receptive to environmental input, and the neural pathways are rapidly forming. This is when the foundational beliefs about the world, relationships, and safety are formed. It's a time of learning that happens primarily through the environment rather than logical thought or reasoning. The deep programming that takes place in the delta state shapes the core beliefs and emotional responses we carry into adulthood. Unresolved traumas or positive experiences during this time can significantly influence adult behavior, often without conscious awareness. For example, feelings of safety or insecurity that stem from early childhood experiences can influence how a person reacts to stress or relationships later in life. Next, we have theta waves. So these go from 4 to 8 hertz. Theta waves are active from 2 to 7 years old and are associated with deep relaxation, light sleep, and a highly creative or receptive state. During this phase, children are still in a deeply suggestible state where their subconscious mind is forming the majority of its programming. Children in the theta state are highly impressionable and often absorb information and behaviors without critical filtering. They are not yet capable of logical reasoning and tend to learn by mimicking the behaviors and beliefs of the adults around them. This period is when children learn language, social norms, and belief systems, largely from their caregivers and the culture around them. Because children in the theta state are like sponges, they tend to internalize everything they observe, whether positive or negative. Negative experiences like trauma or neglect can become deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind and may later manifest in the form of limiting beliefs, fears, or irrational behaviors in adulthood. Conversely, positive role models and nurturing environments can foster strong self-esteem and healthy social patterns. Next, we've got alpha waves, which go from 8 to 12 hertz, and these activate from the ages of 7 to 12 and are associated with relaxed wakefulness, calm focus, and creativity. By this age, the child's brain begins to develop more mature cognitive functions and can engage in critical thinking and problem solving, although they still rely heavily on their subconscious programming. The brain transitions from the theta state to the alpha state, allowing children to begin to evaluate and critically think about the world around them. They still tend to absorb information from their environment, but now they start to form a sense of identity and may begin to challenge or question beliefs and values. However, much of their foundational programming from earlier years remains deeply embedded in their subconscious. By the time we reach adulthood, many of the core beliefs and automatic behaviors formed in the theta and delta stages are still operating subconsciously. As adults, these beliefs influence how we perceive reality and interact with others. For example, if a child was repeatedly exposed to messages of inadequacy or fear during the first 7 years of life, those subconscious beliefs may continue to affect the person's self-worth and decision-making in adulthood, often leading them to self-sabotage or avoid opportunities. And finally, we have beta waves. So these go from 12 to 30 hertz. So beta waves are associated with active thought, problem solving, and higher alertness. As the child matures into adolescence and adulthood, the brain typically spends more time in beta waves as it becomes more focused on external tasks and responsibilities. Beta waves are associated with the thinking state where logic and reasoning prevail. By adolescence, individuals are more capable of filtering and processing information with a conscious awareness of what's going on around them. However, by this time, much of their behavior is still driven by the subconscious patterns that were set earlier in life. In adulthood, when individuals are primarily in beta states, they may still be unaware of how deeply their past experiences, particularly from early childhood, are influencing their decisions. The habits, beliefs, and reactions that were programmed in the delta and theta stages continue to play a significant role in their behavior. Stress, anxiety, and emotional responses are often automatic and tied to these early programs rather than being a result of conscious, rational thought. So how does this tie in to adult behavior? Well, Dr. Bruce Lipton's central thesis is that our genes do not determine our fate as much as we think. It's our environment and the beliefs we form early in life that shape us. The brainwave states described above, delta, theta, alpha, and beta, are critical periods when our subconscious mind is most open to environmental influences, and they play a significant role in the formation of beliefs, habits, and behaviors that will persist into adulthood. The subconscious mind is like a hard drive that stores all the information we take in, especially during the first few years of life. This programming influences our emotions, behaviors, and reactions long into adulthood. Negative beliefs formed during these early stages, such as beliefs of unworthiness or fear of failure, can become self-fulfilling prophecies that affect decision-making, relationships, and even physical health. The exciting part of Dr. Lipton's work is that he emphasizes the brain's ability to rewire, also known as neuroplasticity. Even though the foundational programming in early childhood can have lasting impacts, adults have the ability to change their beliefs and reprogram their subconscious minds through conscious effort, intention, and practices like mindfulness, meditation, affirmations, energy medicine, and positive visualization. So in conclusion, Dr. Bruce Lipton argues that the first few years of life, when our brain is in predominantly delta and theta states, are crucial in forming the subconscious beliefs that drive our adult behavior. These early experiences shape how we perceive and react to the world, and they can remain with us throughout life unless we actively work to change them through practices that encourage conscious awareness and reprogramming of our beliefs. The final part discussing the subconscious mind for this episode, I will be discussing survival archetypes. Survival archetypes, as defined by Caroline Myss in her book Sacred Contracts, are fundamental patterns or roles that our subconscious mind adopts as a way of coping with life's challenges, especially during formative years. These archetypes are deeply connected to survival, emotional, physical, or social, and they are often influenced by our early experiences, the environment we grew up in, and the beliefs we formed during the delta and theta brainwave states. Delta and theta states, as we know, are highly receptive to environmental input and emotional cues, and during these states, the child is primarily forming unconscious beliefs about safety, trust, love, and worthiness. These early beliefs are crucial in shaping the survival archetypes that we adopt. Caroline Myss suggests that each person has a set of primary survival archetypes that are activated in response to stress or life challenges. These archetypes often reflect the patterns of behavior and coping strategies that we developed in response to the events, relationships, and circumstances that we experienced during early childhood. What I think is interesting is how Caroline Myss's 4 survival archetypes, the child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute, relate to Dr. Bruce Lipton's ideas about subconscious programming, particularly during the early years of life when the brain is predominantly in the delta and theta states. So let's look at each of the survival archetypes. The child archetype represents a part of us that feels vulnerable, dependent, and seeking safety, nurturing, or approval from others. It reflects our inner need for care, protection, and a sense of being loved unconditionally. This archetype can also manifest as the part of us that feels lost or unsupported, much like a child in an uncertain or unsafe environment. The child archetype is deeply influenced by the early experiences of safety and nurturing, which are often absorbed during the delta and theta states. During these stages, the brain is highly impressionable, and a child's sense of security, self-worth, and trust is being formed. If a child grows up in an environment where their needs are met with love, consistency, and emotional warmth, they are likely to develop a healthy sense of self-worth and emotional security. However, if the environment is inconsistent, neglectful, or traumatic, the child archetype can form negative beliefs about their own worth and safety in the world. As adults, the child archetype may manifest in behaviors that seek external validation, emotional comfort, or approval from others. A person with an unresolved child archetype might struggle with feelings of inadequacy or fear of abandonment, leading them to seek out relationships or situations that recreate their early sense of emotional neediness. This can result in behaviors that reflect a fear of being unworthy or abandoned, even if the circumstances of adulthood no longer justify such fears. An adult who strongly identifies with the child archetype may struggle to deal with their emotions maturely and instead resort to comfort eating or neglecting exercise. They might indulge in junk food when feeling emotionally vulnerable or even stressed, or they might avoid a structured exercise routine because it feels like a boring responsibility, choosing instead to stay in their comfort zone and not challenge themselves. The victim archetype represents a feeling of powerlessness, helplessness, and the perception of constantly being at the mercy of external forces. This archetype often appears when someone feels that they have no control over their circumstances, whether that be in personal relationships, work situations, or their health status. The victim archetype is typically rooted in early experiences where the child felt helpless, unsupported, or at the mercy of others, whether due to abuse, neglect, or being in a chaotic or unsafe environment. During the delta and theta states, children are particularly impressionable and absorb everything around them without critical filtering. If a child experiences a lack of control, chronic emotional or physical pain, or is taught that they are powerless, these beliefs become ingrained in the subconscious mind. As adults, the victim archetype manifests in behaviors and thought patterns that reinforce feelings of powerlessness. Adults who are operating from the victim archetype often feel that life is unfair, that they are constantly being taken advantage of, or that they are doomed to be helpless in the face of challenges. They may also attract relationships or situations where they feel disempowered or abused, unconsciously recreating their early experiences. A person embodying the victim archetype may feel overwhelmed by life's challenges and use this as a reason to avoid taking responsibility for their health. For example, they might constantly feel that they don't have the energy or it's too hard to maintain a healthy diet or exercise routine. They may blame external factors like work stress, family issues, or genetics, rather than looking for ways to take proactive steps. This mindset can lead to chronic inactivity and poor dietary habits. The saboteur archetype represents the part of us that unconsciously undermines our own success or happiness. This archetype is tied to self-destructive patterns, often rooted in fear, shame, or deep-seated beliefs of unworthiness. The saboteur tends to create scenarios in which we unknowingly prevent ourselves from achieving our goals or living up to our potential. The saboteur is often a product of early childhood experiences in which a person internalized beliefs that they are not worthy of success or happiness. This programming typically occurs during the theta state when children are absorbing beliefs and emotional responses from their environment. If a child is constantly told that they are not good enough, that their efforts will never be successful, or that they will never be capable of achieving their goals, they may develop a saboteur archetype. The subconscious belief that they are destined to fail can become an automatic, self-fulfilling prophecy in adulthood. The saboteur archetype manifests in behaviors like procrastination, self-doubt, choosing relationships that limit personal growth, or making decisions that lead to failure, even when success is within reach. Adults with this archetype might self-sabotage without fully understanding why they consistently undermine their own efforts. Their deep belief in their unworthiness or fear of failure holds them back from achieving their potential. A person with a dominant saboteur archetype might set a goal to lose weight or improve fitness, but continually undermine their efforts. For example, they might start a healthy eating plan, but then sabotage it by sneaking in unhealthy snacks when no one is around. They might also self-sabotage by procrastinating or setting unrealistic expectations for themselves. For example, I'll start tomorrow, but they never do. The prostitute archetype is linked to self-betrayal and compromising one's integrity or values in exchange for security, approval, or material gain. This archetype is about any situation in which a person sells out their true self, sacrificing their values, dreams, or self-worth for the sake of external rewards like money, power, or acceptance. The prostitute archetype often emerges from early childhood programming related to safety, survival, and emotional needs. If a child grows up in an environment where emotional or physical needs are conditional, for example, you must behave in a certain way to be loved, the child might learn that they need to suppress or abandon parts of themselves in order to receive approval or security. This early programming, which takes place during the theta state, can result in the development of a prostitute archetype where the individual seeks external validation at the expense of their own authenticity. As adults, the prostitute archetype may manifest as compromising one's personal values for the sake of financial security, social approval, or power. This might mean staying in a job or relationship that doesn't align with their true desires or morals, or engaging in actions that violate their integrity in order to fit in or gain external rewards. The individual might experience internal conflict, guilt, or resentment as their actions are driven by an unconscious belief that they must sell out to survive or be loved. A person embodying the prostitute archetype might consistently prioritize immediate gratification over long-term well-being. For example, they might choose unhealthy food or excessive alcohol consumption because it brings temporary pleasure or social validation, despite knowing these choices are detrimental to their health. They may also choose sedentary activities like binge-watching TV over exercise because it provides immediate relaxation or entertainment, even if it undermines their fitness goals. In this case, the fear of missing out on social rewards or the desire for instant comfort overrides their desire for long-term health. Dr. Bruce Lipton's theories on subconscious programming align directly with Macy's concept of survival archetypes in that both emphasize the role of early life experiences in shaping our adult behaviors. The child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute archetypes are not merely labels, but deeply ingrained subconscious patterns that influence how we navigate the world as adults. As Lipton suggests, the subconscious mind retains the beliefs formed during early childhood, primarily in delta and theta states. These beliefs become the programming that governs our choices even without our conscious awareness. For example, if a child internalizes the victim archetype due to neglect or abuse, they may continue to act from a position of powerlessness, even as an adult, attracting relationships and situations that reinforce that belief. Both Lipton and Mace stress the importance of becoming conscious of these unconscious patterns. By recognizing which survival archetype is at play, we can begin to address the limiting beliefs that arise from early experiences and work towards reprogramming them. This can be done through practices such as mindfulness, meditation, therapy, or affirmations, which allow us to replace old, disempowering patterns with new, healthier beliefs and behaviors. Caroline Mace's survival archetypes, the child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute, offer a way for us to understand the unconscious roles. Finally, I'd like to bring everything we've discussed so far into a clear, structured plan to help you achieve lasting health transformations. By integrating the core strategies, tools, and actionable steps you've learned, you'll be able to build a personalized approach that aligns with your goals and empowers you to make lasting changes. First, let's break down the core strategies for transforming your health. Step 1, assess your readiness for change. Before diving into any transformation, take a moment to assess where you are now by asking, how important is this for you to change right now? And how confident do you feel about making those changes? Focus your energy on changes that align with your current level of commitment and readiness. If you feel ready, you'll be more likely to stay motivated through the process. Step 2, discover your deep motivations using the SCORE model. The SCORE model is a powerful tool to help you understand your inner drive by asking questions like, what challenges are you facing? What values or goals inspire you? What specific results do you want to achieve? What tools or support will help you succeed? And what action steps can you commit to right now? Reflecting on these 5 areas will reveal your true motivations, helping you stay on track even when things get tough. Step 3, set SMART goals. Make your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Having clear, actionable goals sets the stage for measurable progress and success. Step 4, review your progress regularly. Set aside time each week to reflect on how far you've come. Check in with your goals, identify any challenges, and make adjustments as needed. Regular reflection keeps you accountable and helps you stay motivated. Step 5, learn in your own way. We all learn differently, so understanding your learning style is key. Whether you're a visual learner, auditory learner, read-write learner, or hands-on learner, tailor your health education to fit the method that works best for you. This will make the process smoother and more enjoyable. Step 6, cultivate core values and manage your time. Your values guide your actions. Define your personal values that align with your health goals, whether it's prioritizing self-care, family, or personal growth. Use the 4 quadrants of time management to prioritize health-promoting behaviors, making sure that your actions align with your values. Step 7, adopt a holistic approach. Take a step back and consider your health from all angles: physical, mental, emotional, and social. Identify any disempowering survival archetypes you may have, such as the child or victim, and work to transform them into empowering roles. By adopting a holistic approach, you'll address all areas of your life that impact your health. And finally, step 8, tools for overcoming obstacles. Obstacles are inevitable, but the key is how you handle them. Plan ahead for challenges. Anticipating challenges can help you navigate them when they arise. Being prepared reduces the chances of setbacks. Now, let's talk about your action plan for success. Here's what you need to do to make this transformation a reality. Step 1, follow these steps in order. Start with assessing your readiness, then move on to goal setting, planning, and managing obstacles. This step-by-step approach ensures you stay focused. Step 2, practice and reflect regularly. Dedicate time each week to practice the tools, reflect on your progress, and adjust your approach as needed. Consistent practice is the key to long-term success. Step 3, keep learning and growing. Periodically revisit what you've learned and explore new tools or strategies. Your health journey is dynamic, and keeping an open mind helps you stay engaged and effective. By systematically applying these strategies and tools, you'll create lasting, meaningful changes that align with your goals and values. Remember, consistency and self-compassion are key. Take it one step at a time and trust in the process. And if you'd like even more help ensuring that you won't be one of the 92% of people who reach 2026 having failed yet again to achieve your health goals because you haven't managed to stick to your plan, I have something just for you. It's my latest program, Stickability. This isn't just another health program, it's your personal roadmap for achieving lasting wellness. With Stickability, you'll gain access to a comprehensive toolbox designed specifically for health behavior change. Here's what you can expect. Firstly, understand your readiness. Assess your preparedness for change and learn how to build on it. Then boost your motivation. Utilize the SCORE model to clarify your goals and tackle obstacles head on. Then empower yourself. Develop the skills necessary to create solutions and set achievable targets. And finally, overcome barriers. Identify the top reasons people struggle with health plans and learn how to conquer them. So what makes Stickability so effective? Well, it synthesizes insights from the leading experts in coaching and psychology, plus my own experience of almost 3 decades helping clients make lasting change, providing you with evidence-based techniques that have stood the test of time. Stickability also comes with a workbook to plan your success every step of the way and to keep you accountable. This course is perfect for anyone who's faced challenges in maintaining health changes or is eager to understand the psychology behind successful behavior change. If you're ready to take control of your health journey and don't wish for another year to pass without achieving your goals, then Stickability is for you. Unlock your potential with Stickability today and embark on your journey towards lasting health change. You can enroll now at www.stickabilitycourse.com and discover the secret to making your wellness goals stick. I'll also put details in the show notes. I really hope you found this week's episode useful. That's all from me today, and I hope that you'll join me next week when I'll be joined by another amazing guest on the Radical Health Rebel podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to give the show a rating and a review, and I'll see you next time.